And start recording. Okay, so have y'all heard people say this whole like pivoting thing? You've got to pivot. Um, Pivoting to me is more drastic. It's when people change what they're doing entirely to fit what's happening right now, which is not necessary. If what you offer was always important when things weren't challenging, then it's just as important and maybe even more important when things are challenging. You just need to reposition what you're offering for why it's like a better time to work with you, like a different angle, the same service or product. So a challenging time is just like a season, like Easter or Christmas, or I mean, every time you reach out to someone in your marketing or you sell them something, it's always better if you have a reason. So, for example, when I worked in digital marketing where we sold digital marketing, like Christmas is coming up, like we need to plan your campaigns, if it's summer, you're contacting all of the outdoor activity people like, hey, summer's coming up, let's get you on the calendar. Or, you always have like a reason that you're angling around why you're reaching out and why it's like a good time to do the business now. So it's important to think about the reason why it's better to work with you now during this challenging time. So like for bookkeeping, it would be, usually I would say I'll take care of your numbers so you can focus on growing your bonus, but now you could say I'll take care of your numbers because every dollar is more important now than ever. But it's the same service, it's just repositioned a little differently. So like for Lucy, it would be, it's more important than ever to keep your presence in front of people so that when this is over, there will be a buying boom and you'll have an audience ready to buy because you've stayed in front of them. For Mary, it would be like, you've always thought about doing something on the side or changing positions, and now you have the time to actually do it, and everyone's looking for VAs because nobody can work in person. So for Susanna, it's really easy for your health to get out of control when all you're doing is staying at home and you're snacking and you're stressed and you're snacking on the wrong things. And you can come out of this with like an extra 15 pounds. What did you call it, Susanna? It was something cute. The quarantine 15. And for Dan, it's that when so many companies are dying, it's so important for you to show up looking professional and like someone that they trust and bringing value. And you can't just look like some fly by night organization or company during like a time when everybody's uncertain. You need to look like trustworthy. They need someone to trust. So yeah, so even me, like, right now it's crucial to nail down a sales approach custom to you that always wins business because there might not be as many prospects right now, and each sale is more important than ever. So it's not the time to like kind of guess at it or try things or keep doing things that don't work. And then it's also, I think I've told you guys this before, but sales is just a normal conversation. So the thing that, and Ryan, I didn't do Marley, but Marley would be similar to Lucy. Mm-hmm. What do you say for this challenge, like for this time? I'm sure you already have something great.
Yeah, I'm just saying, well, when it comes to our teaching, it's like, because our big objection before was like, I don't have time to do this. And now it's like, hey, look at all the time you have to do this. So let's do it. That's pretty much where I'm at with that. And then with the other one, it's just like Lucy's. It's like, hey, let's build out your campaigns. Like everyone's on YouTube. Because if we're teaching them, they're not getting on YouTube in the next month. They're getting on in like a couple months kind of thing or so.
Well, and also it's like people need something positive to focus on with all of this time. Mm-hmm. Like if worrying and being upset made things better, I'd be all for it. But it doesn't, and it makes things worse. So being able to focus that energy and attention on creating something positive that will have returns is a wonderful distraction, basically, from what's going on.
Yeah, I'm using a lot of like, imagine if you come out of this in like June and your channel's built and you have like a following going, your strategies together, like how awesome will that be? And that will be pretty awesome. So
And maybe it's also like, what are you spending your time on now? And they're like, I don't know, feeling like shit and, eating food and Netflixing. You're
just
like, well,
chasing kids around the house. I think
yeah. So imagine like, uh, only Netflixing 4 hours a day. And then the other four, you're creating something that's going to benefit you later.
who has 4 hours to Netflix these days?
A lot of people, I think. I
God,
think a
my
lot of
world
people.
right now, I can't even picture that.
Yeah, I can't either. My cousin is not working and she like wakes up at 10 every day and like stays up late just like watching shows. It's
I
like,
haven't seen Tiger King. I don't even know what it's about.
oh man, we definitely watched it. We found it before anybody talked about it. We were just going through Netflix and this, he has like country music songs about like, I saw a tiger. And when we saw that in the little trailer, we were like, what is this ridiculous thing that we haven't heard about? Like, we have to watch it. And then everybody started talking about it because they all probably started watching it because it looked so, that guy, he's like the most country hick who's also gay and loves guns, like extremely flaming, loves men.
He also did not sing any of those songs. I was like, oh my god, he has such a good voice. He had somebody else cover them.
You're
We're
kidding.
like, no, like you're gonna get a lot of publicity because they have this reality TV show coming out, and then like claimed it as his own. He's a nutcase.
Like shameless. The guy is shameless. It's like a train wreck, you have to watch it. Like the train wreck you can't turn away from. So the other thing is like on a normal day, people feel weird about a sales conversation. A lot of times they start acting differently because it's about sales and there's an exchange of money happening. And they get all nervous and they just start acting a little strange in general. But it's a conversation like any other time where you focus on the other person and what they want and how you can help them get it. So challenging times are actually normal. Individually, people go through incredibly challenging times that are just as bad as this. The difference is obviously this is on a larger scale for everyone at exactly the same time. But people have lost whole families in car accidents at once, or lost a job and gotten cancer at the same time. And all those things it can feel impossible to overcome. And coronavirus and an economic recession or national tragedy has a similar feeling to it, but life, it has to go on. People, I mean, have you ever sold a friend or spouse during a challenging time? Like maybe selling a family member who's sick on eating soup? Like you have to get healthy. Like and they're motivators, right? You're like, we have this event next week. Like you need to be in good shape for it. They don't want to eat the soup. And you try pulling out every reason you can think of to motivate them to eat it. And it's the same, like maybe you have a friend who had a really devastating breakup and all they want to do is stay inside and like cry and mope. And you have to sell them on getting out. And if they like to dance, you're like, come on, we'll go dancing. It'll be fun. You'll get to focus on something else. If they don't like dancing, you don't talk about dancing. You know what will drive them to get out, and it's to their benefit. So you have no problem just like selling the crap out of it. Or like your spouse who was injured, and so you're like selling them on getting out to exercise and get better, because you guys have a hiking trip to Yellowstone in a couple months. So you can use that as a motivating reason. So if selling helps them, if what you're selling them helps them get them in a better spot than they are right now, then you feel compelled to sell it the same way that you would a sick friend or eating soup. And the way that you persuade is exactly the same as that conversation. You know your audience, know what you want and what would help them get it. The difference is that you have to uncover what's motivating them. You don't know ahead of time. Like you already know your family member and your friends what will get them to react. So instead of selling, you just start understanding them. And once you understand what motivates them, you can solve any problem they have. It's simply a matter of positioning it at that point.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Cool.
So, I mean, the biggest thing probably hurting everybody right now is their own psychology. Like, do any of you guys feel bad about selling to somebody right now? Like, bad about their money and yeah, kind of. Dan and Mary do.
Yeah, we just went through a whole weekend event, of a live event that was supposed to be, I mean, an online event that was supposed to be live. And we are talking to so many people who are unemployed, some people who are close to losing their car, homeless, etc. And here we're trying to come in and sell them $895 program or $6,500 program. And it's just killing me to do this. But like you said, now's the time if they can find the money or borrow it from somebody.
Yeah, there's plenty of people. So if you feel bad about it, you're not going to sell it.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I figured that out real quick.
The other person's for sure going to be able to feel it. So, I mean, you definitely don't want to recommend something that's bad for somebody, but becoming a VA can change somebody's life completely. It's a pretty amazing gift to give someone, actually. A lot of times in your situation, Mary, you're just coaching people through the fear of, can they do it? And will they actually be able to find clients? And so it's really more about like, well, can you watch videos on a computer? Can you copy and paste? Okay, you can do this. You can do this. Like, we're going to introduce you to the clients. So it's really like reassuring them of the belief in themselves that this is very possible for them and how amazing it's going to be to never have to be financially vulnerable like that again, to be able to be empowered to make their own income whenever they want with whoever they want. So focusing on that, like past that fear and like who they can be, that reassurance of it. And knowing that if they're looking for something, so if you don't sell them on it, somebody else could sell them that's not going to be as good as becoming a VA will be for them. And that's really scary. So I know that we all sometimes feel bad about this, but I attached this worksheet to the email. And the question that I think will help the most is to imagine them if they don't work with you during this time. Imagine that person in 3 months. Will they actually be homeless? Will they really have lost all of their money because they didn't know what to do and they were frozen and they instead spent it on what little food they could have, they could buy during that time, and now they're really screwed? Have they lost their relationships because they couldn't provide for people? I mean, with Susanna, like, do they have, serious health issues at this point? Like, are they pre-diabetic? For Dan, it's like, they're still not getting any money. They've got their stuff everywhere. They're uncertain. They're lost. They're not together. And when you don't have like a brand that you feel good about, like, it reflects in your confidence. You don't feel good as a person, Hey, Ellie. How's it going, Ellie? Okay. No problem. For Ryan and Lucy, it's like that person probably still feels a total lack of direction. I'm guessing that the people that you guys work with, they don't know what platform to focus on. They're like, should I do YouTube? Should I do LinkedIn? Should I do Instagram? They don't know. And they're probably trying to be in a lot of places at once, and it's overwhelming, and they don't feel like they're doing any of them right. And that's a crappy feeling. And like, just, you don't know where to focus. So it's like nothing is working out. So to be able to give them that focus where they're like, this is my thing and I know how to do it. If they don't, then they're just going to still be spread everywhere. And there's a really good chance that they're going to quit. And somebody who could have, like, if they just had some direction and a plan, could have done something amazing. But instead they're just like, I'm a failure. because we all suffer from imposter syndrome. Like, we know the conversation that they're having in their heads. And if somebody doesn't step in and like wrangle that conversation, they're just going to spiral into who knows what, or worse, spend money on somebody who's like not going to show them how to do anything right, which happens all the time. And then they're going to say, oh, this doesn't work. Or worse, they're going to say, it's me. And they're going to go back to like some sad job because there's not going to be many of them. So maybe they're going to work at McDonald's and they hate working at McDonald's. I mean, who would like that? So sometimes you can trick your mind into that like empathetic where you actually kick in and help somebody come to the decision to move forward and take action by imagining who they will be if they don't take this action. Because like you feel there's like this misconception that you are doing them favors. Thanks, Ellie. That you're doing them a favor by not selling them and then saving their money. There's like this we lie to ourselves or deceive ourselves into thinking it. And you're actually like, I know that it sounds cliche at this point, like you're doing them a disservice, like you've heard it before. That's why I think that imagining that person at the end is like the best way to really realize that you are like shitting on them by not showing them how they can move forward and be better on the other side of this. Because it really, all the reasons that people don't buy are because of fear. Because they didn't think that they could do it. They didn't think they had the money. They didn't think that you were going to actually help them. They didn't think that this would actually work for them, whatever. So it's not that they're not capable. It's that they don't believe that they're capable. And that's such a sad reason. Like, you're totally capable. You could come out on this in such an amazing position. They just need somebody to like show them, basically.
And I think too, like, there's a reason they booked a call. Like, so there's part of them that believes that. That's the thing, right? It's like not like we're taking them from nowhere. Like, I had no faith that anything's going to get any better. We're like going around pitching people off the street. Like, that's not what's happening, right? But that's what you gotta act like. It's like you booked a call. Like, there's part of you that thinks things can be better and that you can move forward and that they're like, you see part of this success. So it's just getting them on that path, or they wouldn't be on a call with you in the first place.
Absolutely. And like that reassurance just does wonders for people's confidence, you know, like knowing that you see people like this all the time and they have what it takes, and being able to share a story about someone just like them that with just a few little things just blew up. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be simple. And like kind of taking that little belief in them and like shining it, like that they have that little one, and just shining it up and making it bigger.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's like, can I dare to hope? Is how they are like on the, like before they get on the call. And then afterwards it's like, yes, I'm so glad I dared. So yeah, the first question on that worksheet is like, how can your service help someone experiencing a mental, financial, personal, professional challenge? And I think it's good to think about it in each of those lights. So like, how could it help someone with a mentally? And that's like, when you feel like you're achieving things, it's really good for your mental health. When you can focus on something that you feel is improving your life and making things better, it's really good for your mental health. Financially, obviously, everybody here has an easy answer to that. Susanna is the only one who's not as obvious, except that we've recently uncovered that, I mean, we all kind of knew, but like fasting and nutrition seriously affects your productivity and focus and energy and sleep. And so, yes, it does make you a lot more money when you feel good physically. Personally, obviously, like all of your relationships are in a better place when you feel good about yourself, when you feel like you're focusing on things that are creative and moving forward as a person, then you can show up better for the people in your life. And then professionally, like everybody knows where they are professionally. But I think it's good to just list out all of those reasons so that you can focus on each element of them in your messaging or your marketing or your conversations, because it really is a 360 thing. People need to understand it's not just about money. They need to understand that right now they're probably really scared and paralyzed, and that that's not making them a happy human, and it's affecting their relationships. They're at home with the same people all the time. They might want to kill the other person or their kids or whatever. And like, this will really help them. They need the variety of things to productively focus energy and attention on. So yeah, the second page is something that I'm pretty sure that you guys all already know about, but hopefully it's still a good reminder. If you feel like your services might be like too much of a leap for someone, breaking them into little pieces and offering a little piece that segues into the next piece is a fantastic way to still sell to people during this challenge, especially because they come out of the challenge ready to buy. And it has to be something that gets them a little win. So like Lucy has a fantastic example with her challenge. It's going to be like a really small investment, but it's going to get them a win, and it easily segues into her next product. So write down each element if this is something that you haven't done yet or would be interesting to you, or for anybody just like watching the replay. Each element, including like initial consultation, strategy plan, recalibration tweaks, like scripting, or, you can break out each little thing and just offer a little element of it at a lower price, which sometimes people feel a little bit more comfortable with, or, there are times people really can't financially afford, but if they get a little win from it, then, especially if it's a little financial win, then they start to really move forward. Like, we have this challenge in one of the offers that I help sell that it's a system where for passive recurring income, they sell a client, they rent a digital storefront. And so they started this sales challenge to sell a client on renting the digital storefront, and then they need to buy the course to fulfill and build the digital storefront for them. But it's exciting because they get the money in first. So Mary, maybe that's a good strategy for VAs. They could sell a client first on the work they're going to do for them. Mm-hmm. And then they take the course. And then the last thing that I really wanted to make sure is everybody pre-qualifying their prospects? Okay, great. Like, there's a form that they fill out. And if they're not a fit, like if they're totally unable to afford what you're selling, if you have a little something, you can send them in the meantime and tell them to come back. So like for that digital storefronts thing I was talking about, they have this $7 training where they could just set up like a Google My Business map listing for a company and make like $500 off of it. So we can send them that thing and say, hey, make some money with this, and it's a great taste of like what we're gonna do, and come back. Like, don't just tell them like it's canceled, it's over, I never want to speak to you again. But don't waste, because the more time that you spend talking to people, like spending 45 to 60 minutes on the phone with people who are not in a place to afford your services, it is very exhausting. It drains your energy. You are not as quality. You do not show up for the call the same. You're not going to close business when you're talking to all of these people who can't afford you. And it starts to make you think that there's something wrong with you, and there's not. It's just the fact that these people aren't a good fit. Like, there's this other offer that I help manage a sales team on, and they're all insurance agents, and they have insurance agencies, and then they sell this course on how to establish exclusive referral partnerships with loan officers. And when they take too many calls and they have their agency, they stop closing. And I'm like, could you please take a personal day? Like, when you're burning out, like, just to stop. Like, it's for a very selfish reason. Like, you're not going to make as much money. Like, you feel like maybe you need to push yourself or something. Like, if I just work hard, I can get through it. Like, but I'll just chug an energy drink. But, self-care is like actually going to affect your bottom line more than pushing through. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like reschedule it to tomorrow or whatever.
You got to have fun. You got to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's when
We're having fun, right? Alicia, why are we here? Because she's fun. She's fun. She's fun to hang out with, right? And so we all want to be here in this like fun atmosphere. It's like an amusement park. And so that's what people want. Be in that space, having fun, and people will just, they'll cling to you. It's awesome.
Yeah. Especially like right now. So that's when I notice I do the best with sales is when I'm having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a good headspace. I mean, they say something like 5% of sales is your words, which is crazy. Okay, so that's kind of what I had to say about all of that. Was that helpful? What do you guys think? Do you have any insights, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of like giving somebody, especially like with digital storefronts or even with the YouTube coaching, it's like kind of giving somebody something to get up for in the morning. Like I just put myself like in their shoes. Like right now I have everything to get up for in the morning. I'm so flipping busy all the time. But like these people who are watching 4 hours of Netflix, like I know what that's like in the morning to wake up and like you have nothing to like work on or look forward to or really, do that day. And I think that's like something that's so universal, like that feeling in the morning. So I kind of like the idea of like bringing that up in a call and being like, hey, imagine if you had this like course to go through and this business to work on or this video package to get started and like all the things you can get started in the day. If you just spent your first couple hours in the morning doing this, like how would that change your day? Like how would that change your sleep patterns, everything, right? Like your diet, like everything changes when you wake up and you have like stuff to get up and do and like a purpose.
Yeah, purpose is everything. Like they say, when you retire, the people that actually retire and just like drift through their days end up dying pretty soon after retirement because they have nothing to live. Like purpose is so fundamental to humans, even if it's not like, if the purpose is like feeding like the neighborhood cats, like that's enough to keep somebody going, like you need some source. It's the source of fulfillment for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So does anybody have any like specific sales questions that they're going through? Mary, did you implement that 2-call thing?
I have not done anything due to the fact that our sales started last week once I got everybody assigned to who I was going to work on last Monday. And then our live event was Friday and Saturday. And I was on the phone, Zoom for 11 hours each day. And then I had to do sales at night.
Wait, why were you on Zoom for 11 hours?
Because the event was from, Dan, was it from 9 to 4? But then our kick-in meetings were started at 8 something. And then our sales meeting went to like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Correct. Yeah. There was a lot of Zoom that day.
That's
2 days.
brutal.
Headache from staring at the screen from so long. My ass hurt. It was terrible.
Between my ass and my ears hurting from the headphones all day. It just was,
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really good example of like how we should think of balancing our lives and like for other people's too. Like, I know that you guys didn't create the idea for the Zoom conference to be like 11 hours or it's not, it was 7 hours. That's still a lot for somebody to like tune into.
It was successful. I think we've already sold $160,000 already.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so she's doing really good with that.
And, I mean, and we're Go ahead, Dan.
I mean, there was six breakthrough specialists that were there, including Mary. So between all of you guys are killing it.
And the comments coming back about how empowering it was. It was a lot of mindset work, a lot of getting over fear and getting the courage, how to speak to your spouse about saying, hey, I'm going to spend $10,000. I hope you're okay with that. Everything that we could help them with. It was extremely successful, but it was just draining. So no, I haven't been able to implement the 2-part email, but I
Okay.
will.
Yeah. So I have a client who implemented the 2-call thing, and every call that shows up on the second call closes
I'm sure.
for him,
I'm sure.
which is pretty cool. The magic is in them knowing the price. And then
Ask you a
coming.
question, Mary.
Yes.
What's the drain?
What do you mean?
What do you feel causes you to feel draining? Like, where's the energy getting used the most?
My drain, it's just was looking at a screen for that long. I was exhausted just from the screen, but then I also have been pulled and then listening to people's their stories. It's kind of, you get consumed with their stories. And plus I had a puppy. I'm not sleeping at nighttime.
Oh,
I got my 26-year-old living here. I have my husband living here. I mean, well, of course he lives here, but everybody, yeah, there's so many drains right now. I can't even begin to tell you. I won't go there.
yeah.
Sorry.
When you really like focus on somebody else, it can be very draining unless you're an extrovert by nature. I'm an extroverted introvert. So like, I love people, but they drain me. Like I need to go home and recharge. Extroverts, true extroverts actually get energy from people. Like they can't go to sleep after being at a party because they have so much energy. Which
I understand.
yeah, is that you, Dan?
I am very extroverted. I do get, like Mary said though, and like you had said too, once you get involved very much a very deep level, it does drain you. It really does, because you feel very invested in that person, and then you want to know more, and then you learn, and then by the time everything's done, you're like, okay,
So
I've hit the wall.
one thing that will help you with that is that when people start telling you their terrible story, like a lot of people really like telling people their terrible story, and they want people to feel really bad for them. But that actually doesn't help them at all. So if you can listen to that and hear, first of all, everyone has a story. Everyone's got something bad that happened to them when they were little or in between or whatever. It's just, if you focus on how they're not going to be like that. I'm so sorry that happened. That's so hard. Like, that's why this will be even better for you. You won't have to, so you're, instead of like getting like drowning in the muck of whatever they're explaining, it's like, okay, I get it now. There's like a lot of reasons why your life has sucked up to this point. We don't have to recount all of them. Not that you would say that exact thing, but you're like, I get it. Like you had a rough go. There's a pattern in all of these things that you're telling me that happened that were bad. Oh no. Okay. Bye, Lucy. Thanks for coming. Okay. It's just like, okay, how can we can turn that around? Getting them to instead focus on what it's going to be like when they're not doing all of that or experiencing all of that negativity, can make it a little easier for you, less draining for you too. Because you get excited about them being on the other side of it.
Mhm.
Can I give you an example? Can I give you a story, Alicia? That may give some.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Yeah.
So imagine this: you're walking down the street and you see a manhole open, and there's someone yelling. They're stuck down in the hole. Help me! Help me! So the best way to help them, the most effective way, would be to stay on top, get a rope or a ladder, and hand it down. But if you jump into the hole with them because you want to be there with them, no one's helped. Not them, not you, because now you're both stuck. It's so important mentally not to go down into the hole with them. You can listen to them, but you don't need to go into like oh yeah, I feel the pain, I feel it. You don't have to go. It doesn't help them at all. Not at all. Not one drop. Stay on top, smile, and say, yeah, so how did you get to where you are now? That's amazing. You must have had an amazing story. Wow, what a success. Wow. And start talking about right now and get back into the happy space as fast as you can. And don't waste your energy because it's not helping them. It's not helping you. It's just, make sense?
Yeah,
Very
and
true.
sometimes you can call out a pattern. You can say, okay, yeah, so I see that there's a pattern of like you start something and then it doesn't like continue going. So the difference here is we're going to make sure you keep going because blah, 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 blah. Or I see a pattern here where, you know, sometimes it helps them, like they feel like they don't have to keep recounting all of it. If you can just acknowledge that, okay, this is the common theme I'm seeing and this is how we can change it. So that it's not that they don't feel heard or whatever, like they feel heard at the same time as being able to move on. Because, you know, it's draining for them too, to talk about all of their stuff that sucks.
Mhm.
But I think I've talked about this before, like misery is somewhat addicting for us. And I heard that it's actually because on a primal level, like we needed to be on guard all the time and never relaxing. Like, you know, back in the original days, like cavemen. So now we still, like when we relax and feel good, our mind will still pull us back to like, wait, what was I worrying about again? Wait, what was I beating myself up about again? What was I upset? It's like this strange addiction to it. Like, oh, well, the other shoe was about to drop. So I'm just going to like get there before it drops and just feel miserable now. And helping somebody break that addiction and misery is not something that can happen in one call, but if you can at least give them a bright spot of hope and excitement, it's something you can feel good about afterwards. And it's still a little exhausting to pull someone out of that, but it's not as exhausting as like staying in the swamp with them.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
That's because like the people who are like worried about getting eaten by the tiger way back in the day, they all survived because they were worried about getting eaten by the tiger. So it's like their genes went through, you know, those worrying like there might be a tiger in that bush, I'm not going to go in there. Whereas like whoever brought me up was just like, whatever, maybe there's a tiger, maybe there's not, let's go. Those people didn't make it.
Yeah, they
so
died.
It's like we're slowly coming out of that, right? You don't have to worry about tigers in the bush anymore unless you're on that crazy show with the tiger guy.
Yeah. Well, then you like are willingly trying to hang out with tigers.
Then you probably should get eaten by a tiger.
Yeah, he should have. So there is something that we wanted to ask you guys about. Susanna is, you know, thinking about changing who she works with a little bit and her service. So do you want to explain it, Susanna?
So yeah, I'm thinking of going into different directions, and so I'm trying to figure out which one to go further into. So I'm a dietitian and I specialize in intermittent fasting, but that's not enough like of a pain point, like just saying, oh, I want to learn more about fasting. So I've been trying to figure out which direction to focus on for that pain point. So one idea is to focus on those who are looking to increase their energy, focus, mental clarity, and productivity. So especially like business professionals who have that afternoon slump and want to get to that next level, but are feeling kind of really drained in the afternoon, because fasting can really help with that. And then my other direction is to help people who have headaches. So my history is that I had brain surgery a few years ago and had really bad headaches for 5 years before I discovered fasting and was able to get off all medications and cure my headaches. So I experienced the like lack of focus and the headaches and the like that was in the past and overcame that. So there's those two possible directions that I can go in. Do you feel like one would be more successful than the other?
Basically, like, what do you feel is more persuasive? The issue of focus, because headaches can fit in to the focus and the energy and the better sleep. It can fit into that if we want to focus overall on like just being better at everything in your life, basically through this, but like from a busy professional lens, or just focusing on people that aren't necessarily busy professionals but have chronic headaches. Like, which one do you think is more persuasive? Like, get rid of your chronic headaches, or have increased focus, energy, better sleep, and basically like make more money?
With this time of COVID, I would think the staying focused, not having shiny object syndrome, because people might not be used to working out of their house. Mm-hmm. You know, the wash needs to be done, or you got people screaming or shouting, or you guys teach your kid online training. You know, I mean, there's so much going on that I would think staying focused, that they could get their work done quicker if they were focused versus dragging it out. And if they drag it out, then they can't sleep at night, etc. But a person who has had chronic headaches, I get that part too, though, because I have Chiari malformation, so I get that.
Yeah. So that's what we were thinking. I'm like, I don't have chronic headaches, so I'm a little biased. Like, but I can imagine if I did, like, that's something you would do anything to solve.
You don't know what you're going to wake up to each day.
Yeah. What's up, Ellie?
Susanna, that's a brilliant niche, both of them. You should do both. And here's why.
Okay.
The headaches and the fasting, right? They're both part of the same solution.
Yeah.
Before you had the headaches, where were you on the way to? What did the headaches take you away from?
Family, business, everything.
You were on the way to your dream life, awesome family, awesome business, crushing it. And then boom, you got a headache.
Mm-hmm.
And it dragged you down. And then you discovered this awesome intermittent fasting that changed it and brought you back with even better excitement. And now you're crushing and killing your business, right? So you're not solving headaches and doing intermittent fasting. You're actually creating an awesome business free life structure. That's what you're selling.
It's just that the positioning is different. Like, if we were going to talk about headaches, we would just literally be like, get rid of chronic headaches. But like the other way could be like including getting rid of headaches. Like it could.
Right, the thought of it's a headache, right? Just gives you it's all headaches. That's the misery. The headaches is what's in the way, right? Alicia taught me that. I was like always like chasing, telling the stupid thing, and then she drove in and said, "Ellie, stop selling your headaches. Sell that excitement at the end." And now it's like I don't talk about the headaches. Who cares? No one's talking about headaches. Talk about the dream life, how it's going to be so great, and all this crap is gone.
Sorry, I lost everyone there. You're back.
Yeah, the removal of the headaches. But it's just like, it's such a debilitating issue, you know? I wonder if it's like a bigger pain point, the debilitatingness of it. But like the lethargy, and like, I feel like it's so universal, like the lethargy in the afternoon and the lack of focus and the mood and like all of that is so universally like, oh, I want to fix that. But is it painful enough that you would fix it? Is it like something that you're like, oh, I know I need to change my nutrition. I think I'm not going to do it. Like maybe it's not as painful.
That you can easily put off when it's just like lack of focus. It's like, I know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird, like,
what?
With headaches and like with toothaches and stuff like that, like one of the strange things, it's not like another ache or injury in your body, right? Like when it's gone, it's gone. It's so nice. Like if you've ever had like a bad toothache, it's like, oh, I can't think of anything. And then when it's fixed, it's just fixed. It's not like recovering from like you sprained your ankle and then it gets better and then it's like weeks and then it's like all this recovery time. Like the great thing about those problems is they're so all encompassing, but then when they go away, they just like, there's no recovery period. It's just like, woof, they're gone. And then it's like so uplifting. Like you're so on another level after that happens. It's not like, oh, my leg's broken, I got to be in cast, and then it's going to get fixed, and eventually it's going to get better, and then it's going to get stronger, and then all this stuff has to happen to recover.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where I would focus. It's like, once those things are fixed, they're just like gone, and you're immediately on like a 10x level than where you were before. There's no big in-between time.
The comparison, you're just like,
really? Yeah.
Like when you have a stuffy nose, you're just like, how did I ever take for granted that I had life without a stuffy nose?
Exactly. I got to jump off though, guys. I got a call coming up right away.
Okay. Bye, Ryan. So, okay.
Yesterday, 2 days ago, I had a client just like that. He was literally, that was his problem. He was selling a nose spray.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to his calls and no one was buying it because like, okay, so get rid of the nose, stuffy nose. That's not what he was selling. He was selling like an 8-lane highway through his nose. Like when you, oh my God, you know, it's going to be open, ears are going to be coming in and stuff. It's going to be exciting and you're going to just breathe. You're going to want to breathe all day long. It's fun, right? It's going to be breathing's going to be fun. That's what he had to sell, not like a spray. Who wants a spray?
Right. Totally. Okay, so next week, Ted will be here, the LinkedIn expert that I was mentioning. He'll go over like how to reach out to people, what's working right now, answer any specific questions that you guys have. And he's just like a really good person. So I hope you guys can make it for that one. Okay. Cool. All right, you guys, I hope you have an amazing day and you help a lot of people, because all of you have something that's really going to change somebody's life during quarantine. Like, they're looking for a ray of hope. Yeah. All right. See you next week. Bye.